Alright, so we're going to be taking a look at Assassin's Creed Syndicate on the RTX 2060 and the Ryzen 3600 running at 1440p. And we're going to do the game's recommended settings for this. So yeah, I know this is an older game, but it has been on sale a lot recently in the past couple of months, whether it be Uplay, Steam, and elsewhere. And also it was a free game last week on the Epic Game Store, so there might be some people going to check this game out for the first time or want to know how it's going to run, so I thought it would be cool to take a look. And we get to assassinate that guy at the end of this mission. It's kind of the training intro here. So anyway, before I bring up MSI Afterburner, let me just show you what we're doing with the settings. In here on our video, we're going to be do the auto detect. We're going to be on the 1440p, 144 Hz, VSync off, graphics preset on high when you're on the recommended. Just to show what it does, I'm going to bump everything up to pretty much the maximum that you can do, so I can show you what the frame rate difference is about 40 FPS. So it's definitely not really worth if you want a 60 FPS plus experience. You don't really want to do this, and I'll show you that here before we get started with the run through. So I'll bring up MSI Afterburner, and you'll see on these settings we're standing up here sitting around the 40-43 FPS range there. And we'll go in here and we're going to switch things back over, make sure nothing changed here, switch things back over to the recommended settings, which is pretty much just going to be the high preset. And that's going to help us out with a lot smoother gameplay, especially using this on a G-Sync or FreeSync 144 Hz monitor. So now we're getting 40-45 FPS more, and the game still looks really, really good. And this being an older game, it's not going to be that super taxing anyway for certain things. I'll speed through some parts here and there. I'm just going to play through this whole first mission, but I will skip a lot so the video doesn't go on too long. But I want you to see some different areas where there's climbing and combat and sneaking around and doing a few different things, so that you can see what kind of performance you'll get while you're playing this game with either the same kind of build or something similar. I may also run this on the really old PC that I've been doing, the FX 4100 with the 1050 Ti, to see how that does. And we'll just see how this video does before I do that. We'll go through and get this place all sabotaged so we can get out of here. You can see with these recommended settings, the recommended high preset, everything's running really, really well. And for the most part, you're going to run 80 to 120 FPS. It tends to stay in the 80s and 90s a lot, and really smooth. You're not going to see it on the YouTube video very well, but me playing it here on this monitor is extremely smooth. It looks really, really good. No stutters or hitches. Ran really, really well. This is that old school Assassin's Creed combat and moving. You don't have that anymore since Origins and Odyssey changed it up. Kind of like how these older games were. Black Flag was definitely one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games. So you can see here, even opening out into this scene, everything stayed really smooth on the frame rate. And I'm sure I had to do some type of loading to go out here, and even with the NPCs and everything. No hitches, no jitters, no problems. I'm sure if I fire this up on the dual-core FX 4100 PC, it's going to have a lot of trouble, but I haven't tried it yet. And again, I know this is an older game, but I thought it would be fun to do this anyway. I'm sure a lot of people grab this for free on their Epic account. Plus this game has been really cheap on Uplay and Steam and whatnot in the past few months, so why not take a look at it. And this wasn't one of the more popular Assassin's Creed games, but it wasn't too bad. It's just that they were kind of starting to put them out too quick, and the quality was kind of going down. And when they took a break and revamped everything when they came out with Origins, you could really tell the difference, how they really stepped up their game with Origins and Odyssey. I'd really like to still see a Black Flag 2, to be honest. But you can see here, even as I've made my way across the town here to get over to the other area, I've been doing some combat. Everything's running very consistently. Alright, so we'll get this open up, we'll get inside here, and I'll kind of speed up a couple of areas, and we'll get to the last area where we're going to assassinate that boss guy, and that ought to be enough gameplay to show pretty much what to expect as you go through different areas of the game. So if you've got something like a 1660 or a 1660 Super or the 1660 Ti or something like that, I think they even have the 1650 Super, you're going to run well, not so much for 1440p, but if you're at 1080p you would get similar performance as I'm getting at 1440p on the RTX 2060. I have a 1660 that I was going to be using for testing, but I had a buddy that really needed a graphics card, so I threw him my 1660 for now. But maybe later down the road I'll be able to do something with that. That card actually overclocks really well. You can almost get 1660 Ti performance out of a 1660. I haven't messed with a 1660 Super yet, but I overclocked the 1660 a lot when I first got it and played around with it. The RTX 2060 here can overclock some. Mine tops out at about 500 megahertz additional on the RAM and about 50 more on my clock, so I could run this at about 1995 megahertz and 7500 megahertz on the memory clock, and that's about where my RTX card maxes out for this MSI Gaming Z. You may have something that does better. I know some people have gotten 1000 megahertz on their RAM, on their video card, and like 80 to 120 on their core clock. But I can't successfully do that. I crash drivers and I have issues in certain games. But maybe I'll do a video showing my overclock of the RTX 2060 I'm using right now. Planning on grabbing a 2060 Super, maybe a 2070 Super or something. I wouldn't mind having one of the RX 5700 XTs or something also. And we'll sneak around here. We're getting close to the end. We'll do our final assassination, and that'll be enough gameplay to give you a good idea what to expect here. If you have any questions about a build you're working on or how something might run on your build, hit the comment section down below. I'll be happy to try to help in any way that I can. I've been building PCs for about 24 years this year actually, so not that I know everything, but I might be pretty helpful. If you have any questions, definitely hit that comment section. That's a nice assassination right there. Alright, so last thing we gotta do is get up here and kind of climb around. I'm gonna go around the edge and just avoid some combat and get this guy taken out and end the video. Plenty of gameplay to see what kind of performance you get here. Really consistent 90s and 100s, especially when you're indoors. Outside, still pretty much 80s and 90s. Alright, so we're getting down to the end here. We'll take this guy out. And that should about do it. Thanks a lot for coming to check out the video. Subscribe if you like the channel. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And like I said, hit that comment section below. Let me know if you have any questions or anything like that. Thanks a lot. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time.